All right, welcome to Ears to the Street with Factor Entertainment. Me, I am your host, HG, and we coming back. Once again, we back at y'all. I got my co-host Off Grid on code. You know what I'm saying? We definitely gonna hit y'all with some updates. We got a couple of other stories that we're gonna be speaking on. We're gonna get into the Mallory situation, see where we currently are with that particular situation. Off Grid is gonna, give us a little bit more intel on that situation. We're gonna discuss these four Black Americans, two of which were murdered, two of which who have been, to my knowledge, back in the states safe. We're going to get into that, and then we're also going to, we're asking the general question to the public. Are you guys doing your due diligence when hearing these stories and being proactive and following up yourselves, just to see how much truth you can get out of this instead of just always either taking our word for it or other media platforms' word for it and actually doing the investigation yourself, so you can have the accurate information. So how everything going off grid, let the people know how you're doing.
Oh, everything going well, brother. Just doing the update here. We got a lot of information that came up and some new topics. So just try to hone in on it and try to get a general consensus of why things happen the way they do and how they don't have to happen this way. If we stick to the script and stay on code.
Right, right, right. Now, I know we chop it up, behind the scenes. So give the people just a general idea, because there's some people out there, they're not from a particular era that we're from. So when you say on code, just break it down briefly what you mean, so people have a thorough understanding of what that means as a people.
Okay, as a people, black people, on code means race first. That's first and foremost, race first, and it doesn't necessarily mean we're against other people. I hate to have to start it out being unapologetic and have to explain because I feel like that diminishes it. But it's just that being on code means that you want to see your race in the best position, and you stay on code by being not being a denigration to the race, not being derelict. You do things as to where you don't cause the race to have to suffer. You know, they say one man can't move a mountain, but as long as each person is not doing anything derelict, the mountains get moved like that.
Mm, mm. I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more. Um, you know, as a people, it seems like many of us are not on code. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? Hmm.
not. It's a thing as to where you know what. Surprisingly, a lot of people do think they are on code. You know, a perfect
Mm.
example of us being off code is seeing a situation and having differing opinions on it and going at it publicly as to where somebody's going to be wrong in that situation and somebody's going to be correct. But either way, both parties are wrong for going at it publicly. On code would mean that, okay, we understand that we have a difference in opinions, baby. I know something that you don't know, or vice versa, but we
Hmm.
won't do it this way. We'll go behind the
Mm.
scenes and I'll enlighten you on what I feel you're not enlightened on. And you do me the same way. Then we come back, and then that way we stay on code.
And you know what? With you saying that, I don't want to veer too much off, but it's been kind of trending the Chris Rock stand up, where he's kind of been going, not kind of, he's been going in on Will Smith, and one of the things that he said, he was brought up to not fight in front of white people. So with you saying that, on what you just said, would you agree with what Chris Rock, is the same, it's the same concept basically, right?
You know what? As a rule, I never just because I didn't see what he said. I heard what
Okay.
he said. You just explained to me, but I know that seeing it and hearing it from him from his own mouth is
Hmm.
something different. So I don't know in what context he said that.
Okay.
I know that we were taught not to do certain things in front of anybody, just acting out foolish in front of anybody.
Hmm. Right.
But I can't understand some of what he said. That's kind of like with the use of the N word with myself. I use the N word 1,000 times a day. I have a ratio that I have to meet at least use the N word
Right.
1,000 times a day. You know, but the thing
Oh
is,
man, you froze up. You froze up.
what about now? Everything cool?
Ah, you good now? You good? You say now get back to that ratio.
Right there. I have a ratio where I do it. I have a quota I have to meet, at least saying the N word at least 1,000 times a day. But the thing is that I don't use it around other races. So I guess you
Mm,
could say that's a form of straightening up and acting right. But I don't use it around non-black people. I don't use it around us.
right, right. Most definitely,
So
most
far as him
definitely.
saying that, I don't know what context he said that in. I don't know what he means by that. I would have to like watch it and then kind of get a feel for it. But I don't. Other than being derelict around non-black people, um, I'm not gonna say he handled it the right way or the wrong way. It's no one knows unless you was put in that position.
And when you say handled it the right way or wrong way, you mean in regards to the actual smack from Will Smith?
You okay? There's different elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he could have handled it a way as where as soon as he was hit, he could have handled that one way, and then the aftermath he could have handled a whole different way. I'm just careful with saying no. If he did me like that, I would have this and that because when I hear people say that, I think about okay, well, what about with this thing with this reparations and this slavery? Why you ain't slapping none of them? Why you
Right,
ain't doing none of that? So
right, right,
I'd be
right.
careful.
Exactly. Most definitely, most definitely. So, as the people know, well, some may know, and some would be updated. With this actual situation in Colorado with this couple, we've talked on it a couple times. We gave the people a trunk load of information, ton load of information in regards to different ways to look at this thing, different events that's happened. We have claims of animals being poisoned. We have claims of racism, systemic racism. We have an actual a situation where someone was murdered that was connected to this family. To your knowledge, and we don't have to go deep into it. You know what I'm saying? But just any updates you have for the people to let them know where it currently is from your perspective.
Um, far as the facts, they've had Nicole and Courtney Mallory had court dates in February. Courtney had his February 14th, I believe, and Nicole had hers on the 16th. From what I've read, for some reason the judge he postponed any activity on it. I don't know why, but it was postponed. I did see footage of the rally that they had down there. And I can say I was disappointed. They assembled at the I don't know if they assembled at the Capitol or some state building, some place where Negroes think that it's an important place, either like some state office or something. But they assembled down there. They had all the classic people down there, fist in the air, and all of that. Um, I don't think they didn't accomplish anything, obviously, out there. And they were holding signs about this Karen Act because they're trying to push a Karen Act, I guess nationwide. Um,
So
Karen
what?
Act is
Oh, go ahead. I apologize. Go ahead.
Karen
Continue.
Act is CAREN, and I think it stands for cautious against. Um, it's I forget the acronyms for it, but it has to do
Hmm.
with prevent or being cautious against people that call the police for racial intentions with racial intentions, which I don't understand. I mean, how do you get around that?
Right, right. You saying like how could that be an accurate course of action? How can calling how can that be combated in a sense, right? Like,
Right.
it's too like a vast of a thing to really be combated. Um, yeah, yeah. That's crazy how that Karen thing is has turned into just now it's this thing now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, most of us don't even live by that. Like we don't even like I don't even I have used that term, but it's not. I don't see it as a real thing. Karens has always been there.
Yeah,
Karens,
yeah.
Karens and Kens have always been there, and always been black people that have false claims of racism and everything. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna jump on a new bandwagon and this and that. I'm not doing that. We haven't even got rid of some of the old things. You know what I mean? So it makes
Right,
no sense.
right. Exactly, exactly. So, with the we can wrap up on the unless you have some more information insight on the ranch situation. From a personal standpoint, do you feel this situation is something that black people should be standing behind, or is it some type of farce? Or was it at one point something that was something to stand behind, but then as time progress and situations unfold and different elements of it unfold, the community may be standing behind something that really isn't something that's rock solid or needs this type of support.
I feel like, far as the Mallory's case, I probably have to end up going back just a little bit, but when I first heard about the Mallory's case, you hear about a man and a woman, husband and wife, that's in Colorado, and they're being discriminated against. They have 1,000-acre ranch. They claim that the town is 86% white. The police chief and the whole police department was racially dealing with them, unfairly dealing with them. Neighbors and different things, cattle coming up, dead, missing, their dog killed, trespassing on the grounds, vandalism, just all these different accusations, and we can almost envision that. So I guess being to a degree, being in tune makes you jump on that, and you want to know about it. But being responsibly on code, that you have to do a background check, and that's with anything. And right. We started doing a background check, and from there, things just started falling apart. From my perspective and how I view things as being on code. Because the first thing you have to look at is that if these people are in an area, where, oh, no. People that are in that area right there, you move to a place like that, wouldn't you have some type of support system out there? I would think that you have some type of support system, even if the area isn't hostile. I would think you have some type of support system for an operation of that magnitude. Remember, it's 1,000-acre ranch.
Right.
It's just you and your wife. I think that's irresponsible to move somewhere and just you and your wife, and and especially it shows that you're not cut like that. Neither one of them was cut like that to deal with that. If you have to call in for backups and all this and that, not one shot fired, it shows you wasn't really about that life. So they went out there and they faced these different things. And as we dug into the situation, come to find out that a lot of things didn't add up. So where we're at now is that I don't believe in the end result from my research and everything. I do not believe that it was a real. I don't think I don't think it's a real situation. I think it's either two things: either the Mallory's or a BLM plant. Because also, what I didn't forgot to tell you about, they're saying on record now, she's not even supposed to be a Mallory. She's supposed to be a Nicole Ramitha Hawkins, that she's just going by the last name. Now, that's not a big deal, but if you file in paperwork, it does, because that would be a false statement. You have to put your correct name on when you file paperwork, especially for the different things that they did with the police. You have to put your right name on it. You can't put what you go by.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So is Nicole Mallory, you're telling me like this may just be a totally false identity in a sense?
Not just false identity, it's that her name is allegedly Nicole Ramitha Hawkins is her last name. Hawkins.
Hawkins.
Now, it's not a big old thing. I don't want to be like we nitpicking and saying, well, they're common law, husband and wife, and she just took on the name. But it is something there, man. If you're making these claims of this racism, and we investigate and we start finding out that, okay, but Mallory's not your name, and you were arrested here, and you did this, you did that. That stuff kind of like it's prevalent. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I see what you're saying. And we had talked about this, offline, but I want to bring it up. This been going on a while, but I haven't seen any rebuttals from anybody outside of the Mallorys. Like, we still haven't heard from these neighbors that they're having an easement dispute with. Right. We have people out there camped out, people with rifles, nighttime vision goggles. They haven't caught any culprits. Anyone sneaking in the bushes doing anything. Where's the other end of this thing is kind of what I'm waiting on. Like, okay, Where are the other people? We hear all the accusations, we see the protests, we see pictures of dead animals, but we
Right.
haven't seen any physical person, and we do have a dead body out there too.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But we don't see any, no one. We don't see the boogeyman.
Yeah. It's a trip when you bring up about the dead body because we always seem to forget about that, and that's the most important thing in this case right here. A
Yeah.
man was killed that's connected to the Mallorys and connected to the police department and everything. There's an open investigation of a murder. The Mallorys had a farmhand that they hired. He was half Mexican and half black. I forget his name, but he left the ranch one day. I guess he on his off day or whatever. He went to handle some errands and run business and do whatever he was doing, and he ended up being found shot in the back of the head inside a chicken coop with his pants down.
Hmm.
You know, his wife was, I believe, still missing. His son was in his custody, but the son is with family members now. So the police are
Hmm.
looking for the wife. She's nowhere to be found. It's crazy how there's nothing big on that part of the story right there.
Right, 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 right. Well, I mean, it is what it is. We've been updating you guys about this for the last month and a half. It seems to kind of be at a standstill at this particular point. Um,
Let me address this right here.
right.
Just to say the neighbors are protected, they don't need to come to the public. They actually weren't protected because the neighbor was arrested first. That's something else that never really got out there. The Mallorys had the neighbor, the white lady, she was arrested first. That lady was thrown in jail. She was arrested first. And then a year later, she got the Mallorys arrested. So that just further knocks down this claim of the Mallorys of discrimination and racism and everything. Because that lady would have never been arrested if the town was like that. And she was arrested on the same charges that she wanted them to get arrested on. It's a tit for tat neighbor dispute that got blown out of hand on a lower level. But I still think that either they were placed out there or they strategically went out there, and maybe this is the incident that can get a Karen Act to be passed.
Now, something that you said about being a BLM plant. Um, I mean, based off the Black Lives Movement and the allegations they got with what they was doing with the money, it doesn't seem that far fetched. I'm not saying that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Just
Right.
it doesn't seem far fetched. Is this some type of ploy? To keep the money coming in for Black Lives Matter. That some people know about some people know more than others about the Black Lives Matter movement. You know,
Right.
um,
Of
you know what
course.
I'm saying. So
Of
when you
course.
talk about Black Lives Matter, you got people like, yeah, Black Lives Matter, but then you have those who are kind of like, you know, see the guy behind the curtain and knows what that is. You know what I'm
Wizard of
saying? So,
Oz. See, and that's another thing with us being on code. You know what? It's a trip you bring it up because that's the epitome of the difference in on code and off code. When we first heard Black Lives Matter, you had some black people jump on it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Others were like, wait, hold up. So that's us not being on code. And I'll be so bold as to say people that jumped on the Black Lives Matter bandwagon, they weren't on code. Because number one, when you bring up the originators of it, people always like to holler about the black woman that made it up. It doesn't matter
right.
who made it up. Whoever funds something, whoever's holding the money to something, that's who runs something.
Mhm.
Those
Mhm.
black women that created that, they wasn't running nothing but their mouth. George Soros and whoever was funding it, they run it. The person with the money runs stuff, not the person with their mouth yapping.
Right. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter, and and there's a lot of um, I guess you can say poster childs in a sense or faces of these movements, but there's a
Right.
whole nother board behind them that's really controlling all the springs.
And you know
Um,
what? And that's the part that we're not concerned with because the slogan appeals to the emotions of people. Black lives matter. These black men are being
mhm.
killed. These black women are being killed. Police brutality. Things are going on. Black lives matter. So it plays on your psyche, but you have to be of a certain type because I'm gonna be honest with you. It didn't play on minds. It didn't play on minds, and I haven't been desensitized as to where, oh, it's just another black person killed or beat up by the police. No, I still remember Rodney King. And Rodney King
Right.
is a good situation to look at because that was a real and that was an organic situation that actually happened. Times changed from then. You had Rodney King being beat and trying to resist and put his hands up. Fast forward to a George Floyd, no struggle, calling for his mama. You know what I mean? So those are like that shows you. And one of those is on code. Rodney King was on code. George Floyd wasn't on code. He wasn't on
Okay.
code.
Now, now I understand what you're saying. From a self preservation standpoint, um, if someone's hitting you with a baton, quite naturally you're gonna try to deflect the blow. With 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 Floyd though, he was handcuffed with a knee on his neck. So in that type of, and I don't know with the guy with, I seen the video with the knee on the neck, and I don't know if there was another officer on his body. I'm not 100% sure, but I know we do know obviously the knee on the neck. Is that really the same type of situation? Regardless of, because they both were under some type of influence of a substance. Rodney King was drunk, and then based off the toxicology report, Floyd had a few things in his system. You know what I'm saying? Not enough to warrant, not enough to cause his own death, but he was under some type of substance abuse. Is that really the same thing in a sense? Do you think?
When you say Rodney King, the toxicology report showed that Rodney King was drunk. I think Rodney King might have been smoking crack too. He might have been smoking.
No,
He might have.
I don't know Rodney King's remembering back with Rodney King, I think he was intoxicated.
Right. He was
Um
on something. He was on something.
yeah, yeah, yeah. With
He was
now
on
with
something.
now with
But
Floyd, they got the actual report. Toxicology, I think that's the way you pronounce it.
right.
Report of what was in his system.
Well, with Rodney King, like you say, he was I guess allegedly drunk. I remember hearing something about crack too, or he was a crack smoker. I don't know. He might have been on crack
Probably.
too.
Probably.
Um, he was resisting and fighting back. He was in a fight for his life.
Hmm.
Um, George Floyd, he he was handcuffed. He was handcuffed, and there was a back and forth.
Right.
With Rodney King, it pretty much wasn't a back and forth. It was, we gonna beat you, and you gonna do what you do. I don't really, unless you've seen the chest cam video, I can't really go into a debate or go back and forth with somebody because that chest cam video to me is the evidence hands down on what happened. Like when you say, well, it's different with Rodney King because this officer had his knee on his neck and everything. Let's not forget, bro. Um, George Floyd was bigger than that cop, and that was one cop with a knee on his neck. And okay, he was handcuffed. So you mean to tell me George Floyd was 6'2" or 6'3", 200 and something pounds? You mean to tell me that one cop with his knee on his neck and his handcuff behind his back, and there was no wiggling, no nothing?
Right. 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 Well, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So unless there was something in his system, and unless he was off some high powered narcotics as to where that also aided in him not being physically resistant of that
Hmm.
and choosing to be verbal with it. You know what I mean?
Right. 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 Well, both messed up situations. The George Floyd situation. There's been a lot of different speculations on it. Whether it was a psyop or whether it was just what it is, what we seen.
Right.
So it is what it is with that. But let's get into these four Americans, Black Americans, man, that went to Mexico. From what I'm hearing, went to go do a tummy tuck or something. And next thing you know, they being kidnapped. Two of them ended up getting killed. The other two are back in the States. Like, I mean, like I got the question down there. It's like South America off limits, and I actually read in the article that they like putting the green light on black people. Like, you know what I'm saying, in South America, you know what I'm saying? Have you heard anything about this to your knowledge?
I've just heard about that. I heard a little bit today and a little bit the other day, and you see stuff online. I don't have a fingertip on what all happened. I just heard that some people were down there. Was it a tummy? Was trying to get a BBL or something done?
Yeah, it was something like that. Now it was three guys and matter of fact, let me do a screen share right quick. Excuse me.
Yeah, 'cause I don't know too much about it. I know from living in California, you always hear stories about Mexico and being aware and being alert when you're down and everything. I never went. I never aspired to go to Mexico.
Right. Yeah, I had a friend who was from Belize, older cat, and he would always go to Belize and stuff. But he used to tell me like you got to be careful, especially because sometimes he said he's done it before, but he didn't do it since I've known him. He's always flew to Belize, but he's drove there.
Yeah.
And he's saying, man, you just got to be careful on that road. You run into those cartels, and it's a possibility. It's a
Yeah.
possibility.
I mean, how do you not know about that?
Yeah. Some people just don't think it can happen to them. You know what I'm saying? It's just like going to a Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to Walmart, you going to get some groceries like any other day. But that's why I always say like if you have your firearm, always keep it on you. You know what I'm saying? Don't leave it in the car. Don't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm guilty of it myself. You know what I'm saying? But just going into a Walmart, subsequently, you can have some deranged, crazy person that's the day that they want to shoot up that Walmart. You know what I'm saying? So going to Mexico, you thinking, okay, I don't know if they knew they were in a hot zone or between some type of drug feud. There's certain things I'm hearing.
You
But they
know,
just get. Go ahead.
you know what? It's an echo.
What's the echo?
Yeah, coming back.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, it's gone now. Far as the Mexico thing, like I say, I've lived in California many years. I've never even been to Tijuana. I've never been to Tijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, my thing's a little bit different on that. I don't even aspire to go down there. Like I'm not into that right there. The whole little Mexico scene, I'm not even into that. Not at least one bit.
Mm-hmm.
What's it, Acapulco and all that? I don't like that. I would want my international trip to be on the continent. You know what I'm saying? Africa first. At least that. I'm cool with going to see some Spanish people. But
Right.
we hear everybody alive, no matter what generation you come from. You hear about the cartels, you see these movies and everything. I don't understand how black people, how we get a chance to retract and say, oh, well, maybe they didn't know. How it's in the music, it's in the music. You
Mm-hmm.
see it in the shows, the TV shows. You watch the news, you see about it, and there's no fear. Go down there. But when you talk about something with camping or off grid or something adventurous, oh no, I ain't doing that. So I'm not
Right.
sympathetic to that right there. When you go down there, you better know what you encounter. Straight up.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they found out the hard way. They found out the hard way. I'm gonna do a screen share and just breeze through this article just to have some a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what happened or what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. All right. So this is the source is CNN. CNN. Even though they be full of shit. They're a pretty credible source.
Another thing, we don't have a media, so we back to square one. We always got to go to them to get our information.
Yeah, man, we gotta get some bodies on the ground. Ears to the street, gotta get some bodies out the ground. Matter of fact, hey, if you want to be an ears to the street journalist, reach out to me. Whatever state you're in, if you can report on some things firsthand for us. Ears to the street on all platforms. We'll work out some type of compensation to to get you to get your work compensated. You know what I'm saying? Because we definitely want to build up our media platform to where we can report across this entire nation and hopefully one day internationally. But I'm gonna read through some of this article. As the American survivors of last week's bloody kidnapping in Matamoros receive medical treatment, and the bodies of those killed are man, my spelling is horrible, so excuse me. Repatriated, whatever the word is, REPAT, repatriated. Yeah. Mexico's border epidemic of disappearances remains largely unsolved. More than 100 million Mexicans and immigrants have disappeared with no explanation of their fate for families. That's fucked up. 100,000?
Yeah.
God.
Serious down there.
Damn, who would ever want to go there with that type of number? That's a fucking large percentage right there.
It is.
That's crazy. The Mexican Defense Ministry said Thursday that hundreds of security forces were heading to the border city to bluster the defense on the area in a bid to safeguard the well-being of citizens. But the swift response by authorities to the Americans' kidnappings has raised eyebrows among Mexicans. In Mexico, the lives of foreigners are worth more than Mexicans themselves, one person wrote on the social media on Thursday. Another hope the U.S. government will help all the relatives of disappeared all the relatives of the disappeared in Mexico, so that the government, is that right? See, that's sometimes I be a little skeptical at some of these fucking sites. Another hoped the U.S. government will help all the relatives of the disappeared in Mexico, so that the government of it was the AMLO president Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador finds them as quickly as the citizens of the USA in a Twitter post on Wednesday. Families of the disappeared can only hope to have such a prompt response from Mexico's officials to their reports of loved ones that go missing. Maureen Mayer, vice president of programs at the Washington Office for Latino Americas, told CNN. All right, let me see if I can get to like the gist of this.
Wow.
Well, we've all heard about, some of the Mexican officials and how stuff operate down there. So
Right.
I don't know, I don't know how official that investigation gonna be. And Mexican authorities have been accused of being slow to find, like I just said, disappearance of victims. The reluctance has been attributed to a lack of capacity amid high numbers of cases, official collusion with criminal groups, or a tendency to blame the victims, suggesting that they must be linked to some illicit activity. Mayer, who is a human rights expert on Mexico, added. See, yeah. So it's just
wasn't the last case in Mexico with that one situation with those people that was down there and they beat on the sister?
Yeah. They went down there. And what didn't they go down there for some type of? Was they just hanging out, or was that some type of BBL type thing?
I don't know what it was. I know that they were down. There was a group of them, and I think the Mexican authorities was a little bit hesitant on certain things, and then they finally did something. So it's again, another example of things go on down there. You hear about it, you see it, but when it happens, it's maybe they didn't know. No, we all know. We all know what goes on.
Right. Yeah, that was another unfortunate situation. They beat that girl up like that.
Yeah, right. Yep.
That's ridiculous. Let's keep going.
And you remember they said that they searched on some of those the people that was accused arrested for the murder. They had Black Lives Matter stuff on their social media.
I see Black Lives Matter just got their hands on a little bit of everything, huh?
Like I said, that's a clear indication of somebody that's not on code. Somebody that's hollering Black Lives Matter, clearly not on code.
Right.
Because if they're going off of just a slogan, you clearly not on code. It's more. It should be Black Lives Matter. If you really believe that, it would be more than just a slogan. You wouldn't separate yourself and say well, I don't care about the people that did it. I care about the slogan. If you run off of slogans, then you ain't even talking about nothing.
Yeah, that don't even make no sense right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would you care about a slogan and not the, not the backbone of substance of what the organization is
Right,
geared for? You know what I'm
right.
saying? It's crazy. The government attempted to address organized crime and can also lead to disappearances, she said. Lativia Washington McGee, Eric Williams, victims, Shaid Woodard, and Zendale Brown were kidnapped last week in Mexico. From Michelle Williams and Facebook last year, a Mexican government report blamed the country's own military and police for the disappearance of 43 students in 2014. 43 students.
Yeah, so it goes down there. It goes down.
Yeah, obviously, like, this could, with these type of disappearances, and I'm assuming that, these people aren't wealthy people, so it's probably not a ransom thing. It's probably like some type of sex trafficking, body organ harvesting.
Who knows?
I know, right? So good.
Who knows? You know,
Right.
make you wonder if the people were to investigate a little bit more where they're going and what's going on, would they still choose to go?
Yeah, this is definitely making me reconsider because I was sure thinking about going to South America, but shit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
I
might
believe
need to,
so.
I might need to stamp that passport in the other direction. I'm telling you, that's crazy. I'm telling you, unless you flying like straight to like, and who knows? Because actually, I was looking at something on TV, and it had the, basically danger areas in red, caution areas in yellow, and then places that were okay to visit. There weren't really no okay places to visit. There were a couple, but like the those traditional places that you would go to visit, like Cancun, those was high caution areas. Cause we know
Yeah,
they're tourist attractions, so they know people gonna be there.
yeah. And again, it plays on that whole thing with on and off code. We hear so many bad, horrible stories about Africa, man. You hear about Africa is a large continent, plenty of countries, and to sum it up, oh, it's all bad. Don't go, man. When
You
I went
froze
to
up a little
Africa,
bit.
what about now? Good now.
Yeah. Go ahead. You were saying Africa.
I said when I went to Africa, I was told so many different things. People were telling me when you get in the cab, be careful. They'll rob you. They do this and that, man. And I ain't see nothing but smiling faces, welcoming gestures, warm hearts. Just it was nice, man. But yet still, people hear about this South America thing, and they still go down there and get done up like that. That's man, that's ridiculous, right?
And then just naturally, and we know it's black people all over the world, but you know, we dealing with Latinos for those, Spanish people, Latino people, at a higher majority, So I don't know. I'm the type of person that and it could be a false sense of security. May seem to be more safe around my own people. You know what I'm saying? It's like, would you agree with that? Like being around your own people, you're at a higher level of safety than being around,
Not
Not
I
really.
mean, not necessarily because I mean, just like Mo says on here, she said that it's listed. Mexico is on the level 4 warning, so it's like these people that wasn't a caution in their mind. I guess some people travel with no caution. I'm not a scary type person, but if I'm going someplace new, especially if I'm boarding a plane and I'm leaving lands, I kind of want to know where I'm at. I checked out Kenya before I went over there as much as I could. There's a thing called different alerts. You can find out what's going on over there. What recently happened over there. Things like that. I don't want to get caught up in some civil war, civil unrest, or walk into something that's where I could have just easily checked, found that hey, right now is not the time to go.
Yeah, and pretty much everywhere you go, you can wander into some, you know, it's just like with Chicago. If you're not from Chicago, you won't understand the gang feuds because there's no sign saying, but people that's from Chicago, they know what difference. Just
Right.
like with LA, what sets is what sets,
Right.
what color not to wear, you know what I'm saying? So going into a foreign country, you know, who knows what they go by, like you know what I'm saying? You'll be oblivious to it if you don't do
Right.
your due
Yep.
diligence, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's pretty much on this article. But I do want to say, read this little part right here. It says there has also been a forensic crisis in the country, with more, with more, with like yeah, motherfuckers be messing up with the reading. It ain't all me, y'all. With more than 52,000 unidentified bodies in government custody, a
Wow.
backlog that needs cooperation from prosecutor's office. Excuse me. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is, man. It's like you don't want to just be heartless and say they got what they deserve. But again, man, in the world that we live in now, the phone, like people, it's almost like some people are opening up their foreheads, taking their brain, throwing it in their backpack or their fanny pack, closing their head up, and just using your smartphone. And you can't be like that. You know what I
Mm,
mean? You have a due diligence to know that if you're going over here, let me check to see what's going on. Now, if you're completely oblivious to that, then it shows that you operate on another level. And then that's when you got to resort to hoping that God look out for babies and fools.
right, right. Yeah, good luck with that. I like to be prepared.
I would like to be prepared too. I definitely
I'm
would want to
telling
be prepared.
you. So you was informing me about a situation. This happened maybe about a month ago, a little under a month ago. I haven't heard too many speak on it, but you about this situation in South Carolina where a woman was at a gas station or at a grocery store and got into some type of verbal dispute in the parking lot and end up killing this lady. This black lady ended up killing this white lady because she was under the impression that she was reaching for a gun. Could you go in a little bit about this particular story?
I'm trying to type it on my thing real quick. Yeah, it was a sister. It was a sister. Give me one
I
second.
got an article up too. You know what I'm saying? I was
Okay.
just yeah,
Wait a minute, one second.
yeah. I got an article up on it too.
Yeah, a friend
Um,
of mine, a friend of mine had what's that? Okay, yeah, a friend of mine that's in South Carolina told me, "Have you heard about this situation where his sister killed this white lady in a Kroger parking lot?" I said, "No, I didn't hear anything about that." And she sent me the article, and it was a known white lady that I think she had some. I don't know why my thing turned that way. Ah,
yeah. I do have an article up too. South Carolina woman killed in Kroger parking lot. Spit at suspect prior to shooting. This is a Fox News report. And feel free to hop back in whenever you. Oh, he froze up, y'all. So until he gets back, I'll read some of this article. A South Carolina woman was killed in a Kroger parking lot. Was shot after she spat at the suspect during an argument over who had the right of way. The local police chief told Fox News Digital, citing witnesses. Witnesses told Irmo, South Carolina authorities that Alexandria Cress Boris, 26, was gunned down around 4 p.m. on February 14th after she and the alleged shooter, a stranger named Christina Harrison, argued over who had the right of way in the parking lot of a local Kroger supermarket. You know, this is just ridiculous. Like, people, I don't know. Everyone's in a rush. That's how I feel. When I be out, let me get back. So when I be out, oh, he dropped out. But when I be out, and you know, you gotta check yourself. You know, I'll be out, and you being in a rush is that's like a subjective thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're in the rush. Everyone's not in a rush. No one's rushing to get to the store and get to the Kool-Aid aisle. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you in a rush going to a grocery store? You know, even if someone gets the closer parking space, like, people getting killed over that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But it just goes to the attitude of people. It goes to the attitude of people. You know what I'm saying? You know, people having bad days, and you know, it's one little thing happening and it just triggering them. You know what I'm saying? People got to exercise a little bit more woosah, you know what I'm saying, in their life. Because that don't make no sense for a woman to lose her life over a parking lot, over a parking space. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You going to get food. You get into a back and forth with a lady over a parking lot. You make a sudden move to gesture into your car, and then you end up getting killed. And you know, this lady, to my knowledge, isn't gonna get charged for murder because the lady went and reached in her car. You know, whether the gun was out of there, I don't know. We'll get to it, see it in the article. But Boris says on foot and loading groceries into her car when she and Harrison, who was driving the vehicle, exchanged some words, told Fox News Digital on Tuesday. Matter of fact, let me share my screen so y'all can see this. I'm trying to hop back and forth because I want to make sure I catch off grid when you get back on. But so that's the young lady that was killed. And then that's what's crazy about this article, because they, you know, they got the pictures of the white lady with the family smiling, and then you go down here, you see this mug shot of the black woman who killed this lady. But to my knowledge, this lady isn't being charged for murder. You see what I'm saying? But when you look at these photos, it kind of puts you in the mind state of like, oh, why did you shoot this lady type thing. But let me finish reading. According to witnesses, the two exchanged some words that and that's around the time Boris spat at Harrison. Spit it on her. That's crazy. Spat on her. Dale wrote in an email. Boris turned away and was simultaneously shot by Harrison. Harrison shot Boris one time in the back of the head. Oh, she shot in the head? Oh my God, this is ridiculous. It was pronounced dead at the scene. Police said Harrison fled the scene and her wife for a vehicle, but turned herself in. Authorities around 5:30 p.m. that day. Harrison, 23, was charged with murder, unlawfully carrying a pistol, and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. She was no known criminal history. We might be wrong about that. Maybe she did get charged with murder. Let's see. Let me make sure. All right, he's not back. This is so unfortunate. This is crazy. Unfortunately, this is a situation where tempers flared and someone let their anger get the best of them. On rash decisions has impacted the lives of two families and countless others who witnessed this tragic event. Dale said in a statement shortly after the shooting, "Senseless is the only word I can think of to describe what happened today. Very senseless, ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know, you can't even go get no groceries without getting killed. It's stupid." Boris was with young children at the time of the shooting. That was not clear if the children were hers or a relative's. A Kroger spokesman told Fox News Digital that the store provided video to the Irmo Police Department in their investigation. This was a senseless tragedy, the spokesman said. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family and loved ones of this victim. Boris' husband, Taylor Boris, told local affiliate Fox 57 Columbia that his wife's brother had been fatally shot less than a week prior to her death. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This is crazy. That's it. I don't want to read that no more. So we have to see. I don't know. I wish Off Grid was in here. I don't know what happened. Maybe a signal. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But that's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous right there. Now, when I was speaking with him, maybe he didn't have the facts on it. Or maybe there's been some updates that's not in this particular article. But I remember him telling me that I think the shooter didn't get charged with murder. She probably got charged with murder, and then they probably dropped the charges, or maybe what he told me wasn't completely accurate, and she is being charged with murder. So we gotta revisit this one, y'all. We gotta revisit this one, y'all, to see exactly what's going on with that one. But yeah, it's just unfortunate, man. We gotta check our attitudes. We gotta check our emotions. You know, it don't make no sense to get into a dispute at a parking lot and someone ends up dead. There's a mother gone, and then who knows about the Miss Harrison? She's probably a mother. If not, she has family that cares about her. So if she is being charged with murder, the likelihood of her doing life in prison is probably high. Maybe not if she felt her life was in danger, and that's why she shot her. Shooting in the back of the head, though, like, that's kind of like some execution shit. I don't know about that. On the real. Yeah, it's very sad, very sad, very sad. All right, Off Grid is back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
I hear you. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know how it drained like that. I don't know what that was strange right there. I was asking you to send me the link, this link right here to my Instagram.
Oh, you need me to send a link to the live to your Instagram?
Is it possible you can do that to my Instagram? Inbox it to me.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I just read the article on the lady who shot the lady at the thing. Now on the article, and I don't know if this is an up to date article, they say they charge her with murder and unlawful use of a firearm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they might be nailing her. I don't think she I don't think she gonna get off so easy for on that one, bro.
I
And
thought
she
I, I
and she shot in the back of the head.
I thought it was in the back. I thought she shot her in the back.
Yeah, this Fox article said shot in the back of the head. I'm like, ooh wee,
Wow.
that's crazy.
So
Yeah, I don't,
didn't that, remember that article that I sent you? Didn't that say otherwise as to where that was supposed to be from the police chief or someone saying that the lady won't be charged? And
I had to go back and look at it, bro. I don't
yeah, we got to
remember.
look at that because I
Yeah,
was told
I
something.
yeah I told everyone. I told the listeners like we're gonna have to revisit this and make sure we got the 100% accurate information on this particular one
Right.
on the real. But it's
And
but go ahead.
I'll say, and why are we not hearing about this? Like we hear all the other stories where somebody was gunned down, somebody was, this happened to this
Hmm.
person. This is a person that was protecting themselves. Um, gunplay was involved, and in the end, the black person wasn't killed.
All right, let me find you right quick. Damn, I forgot you on the thing. Yeah. What's crazy though? The
You send me the
incident is.
link.
I'm about to send it to you right now. I gotta switch over to my I gotta switch over to my thing. What's
What's your
crazy
thing?
about the situation is it's over a parking lot, man. It's over a parking space.
Wow, it had
You
to
know what
been
I'm saying?
something minute like that, but that shows you how things can get pumped up from that because the sister said that she was threatened.
Well, if you're in the argument, I mean, these days everyone has a gun. So, I just sent it to you. And these days everyone has a gun. So, if you're in a verbal dispute with someone and they turn around and possibly gesturing to a car or even gesturing like on their hip or anything, it's not far fetched to think that your life may be in danger. One time I was going to Walmart, and the Walmart employee, you could tell he just like left, like maybe on break or something, or took a little bathroom break, but he came outside, went into his passenger side of his vehicle and pulled out a big ass. It looked like an AR. You know what I'm saying? Like a big AR-15, and then just went and threw it in the trunk, and then went back to work. You see what I'm saying? So it's like everybody got guns, and he just came out. He was like, "Oh shit, I done left my damn AR sitting in the passenger side. You know what I'm saying? Let me go throw it in the trunk." You know what I'm saying? Somebody get out the side of their car, see that, look in the window, see that sitting right there. It's a possibility they'll break the window and take the
I
gun.
still, I still don't have it.
Yep. You don't see it? I sent it from my organization thing. Your
But,
DMs. I sent it to Off Grid on Code. Well, I mean, I sent it to your Instagram.
from ears to the street, from ears to.
No, from the One Nation one. I sent it from the One Nation one.
I don't see anything from my DM.
Let me send it again. So yeah, like just with that situation, everyone has a gun. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like I just said, you got it right there.
it's buffering. I don't know why it's taking so long.
Yeah, I think you just having some signal issues. But I can hear you right on here though. But yeah, everybody got a gun, so I'm not justifying anything about this situation because I have to see exactly what happened. You know what I'm saying? I have to see exactly what happened. Was the lady reaching for a gun, or was it just a gesture and the girl probably jumped the gun a little bit, thinking that her life was in danger? That happens. You can't necessarily blame. I mean, police shoot people based off thinking cell phones are guns. You know what I'm saying? How many times has that happened? You know what I'm saying? They're trained. You know what I'm saying? Supreme Gold Energy, what's going on, sister? I appreciate you tapping in with me.
That thing is still buffering. I don't know why that's strange right there. Is there a way you send it to another one through the I don't know why that's still buffering. It's going around and around.
Yeah, I'll send it to you through another page.
I was
Um,
gonna,
Supreme Gold Energy, appreciate you rocking with me, sister. I appreciate your support. She be holding it down. She be holding ears to the street down. Yeah, hey, and I'm telling you, I need some tips, Supreme. I need some tips. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get it together over here. You know what I'm saying? I need some tips. You gonna have to DM me some exercises I need to do. You know what I'm saying? Cause Supreme Gold, she on point, boy. I'm telling you, she don't play around. She don't play around. All right, let me send it to you again.
okay. Strange right there. Yeah, it's definitely an asset having people that's
All right, I just sent it to you again. So
people that's
yeah,
concerned with issues like this and they willing to do the background and
oh yeah, most definitely, most definitely. We're gonna update y'all on this particular South Carolina situation just to make sure we got all our facts right. We want to make sure this is what Fact and Entertainment meets, so we definitely want to make sure we got the accurate facts. But we do have the situation for y'all. Parking lot dispute. It's unclear. Was this woman's life actually in danger? Did she think she was in danger? Subsequently, you know, a lady was killed. Was it warranted or not? We have to determine that. But it is what it is. It's just a crazy situation. Oh, oh, I got you. I hit you up on the DM. I hit you up on the DM. I got a lot I got to work on. Supreme. You know what I'm saying? I've been hitting it here and there. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot I got to work on. But I'm moving in the right direction. I'm moving in the right direction. So So what's up, off grid? Anything you want to drop on the people? We've been going in for about an hour now. We gonna wrapping up soon. But is there anything you want to let the people know about your situation with the off grid? Anything else you want to speak on?
yeah, I'm gonna go back to the Mallory thing because like I said, that case has been going around since 2001, I believe, 2001 or 2002. I'm not sure, but I
Mm-hmm.
think 2001.
Okay.
And uh, like, uh, oh yeah, it's almost that time. No one has really had a hand on it. Me and you, we did our little research and we found out certain things. And I'm just baffled at how it's not a concern. The Mallorys said that they were being discriminated against. The community outside of Colorado came together. They were initially asking had a GoFundMe for $25,000. In the end, they ended up netting over $200,000. Another brother from an organization, his name is Hawk Newsom. He went up there. He put his GoFundMe and whatever information up there. He netted 13, 14,000, and we shouldn't just let that go. It should if they took to the airways and say, hey y'all, we're being discriminated against. This stuff is going on. Black Lives Matter. That call went out.
Um, your um, your sound dropped out.
Somebody was trying to call me. So if everyone stretched their neck out and wanted to come to their aid in the end, we should in turn ask, what was the results? What's the results of the $200,000 that you received? What's the results of the 14,000 that the other brother received? What's the results of the people that came up there to provide security for you? Something other than nothing, because we haven't. Remember, to this day, we haven't heard anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree. I would, I want to see, besides people getting their pockets filled,
Right.
what's the kind of positive end result of this thing? And I'm not knocking nobody getting no money. You know what I'm saying? But
Me
I
neither.
think that, but I think it is a certain level of responsibility on them to show and prove that, okay, this is what we're doing with the money. Um, you know, you know, and even if it's just and even if it's
Right.
just upkeep of the land, you know what I'm saying, like show us what's going on, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
And we'll be updating y'all on this, you know what I'm saying. We'll be keeping an eye on this. But this is our third time talking about this, so
Yeah,
we've
we
we've
ain't letting it go till we figure out what happened.
right. We on next thing you know, we gonna walk around me in Colorado with some microphones, you know what I'm saying, like what's going on, you know what I'm saying.
Unpaid civil servants doing the duty.
I'm telling you, man. But
Indeed, brother.
But yeah, man, I know you got to wrap up. I got to wrap up, man. We appreciate y'all joining Ears to the Street with Fact and Entertainment Meet. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Make sure y'all share the content. Y'all make sure y'all go on Instagram and follow my bro right here, Off Grid on Code. He doing a lot of things, off grid training. Is a lot of things involved with that. You know what I'm saying? So if you're interested in that, make sure y'all DM him. Y'all can DM me, and I can reach out to him for y'all. Make sure. Matter of fact, before you, I'll just put it in the description. I'll make sure I put your cash app. And support us. Support Ears to the Street. You know what I'm saying? Support On
Right.
Grid Off Code. You know.
And we prefer, I mean, cash apps and financial support always helps, but we prefer to give black people hands and feet down in that land so you can see for yourself. That way when you leave, you feel much better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Physical financial compensation, it does help, but we ain't out there hurt like that. We hurting for seeing people go for the okey doke each and every time a natural or man-made disaster happens and no one knows what to do. Come out here and learn what to do so that way something small happens like electricity go off, you won't panic and you'll know how to be sustained at least to the next day until they cut it back on.
Right, and there you go. And that's what he's all about, self sufficiency. You know what I'm saying? Depending
Yep.
on yourself. Self sufficiency, depending on yourself. You know what I'm saying? And we all need that. We all need that. Black people need that more than ever because we're too dependent. We're too dependent. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
No doubt, no doubt. So we signing off Ears to the Street with Fact and Entertainment Meet. I am your host, HG. We got the co-host Off Grid on Code. And we out.
Peace.